I don't think that COVID specifically should be a driver for change. I think COVID simply highlighted that change was long overdue. I go back to the simple fact that we are living in 2020. Okay, and in many ways, education has not progressed beyond 1985, maybe. We've been talking about e-learning and many buzzwords for the past 25, 30 years. But what are teachers doing with them now? And not all teachers, let me be clear about this. There are some teachers who do amazing things. And there are some thinkers in the education sphere who have amazing ideas using technology. The problem is that it's not mainstream. It's actually fueling social injustice. Because some students will be lucky, they get a teacher who's actually good and actually digitally skilled, and others won't. And I mean, I think we can all think, looking back at our own school days, of subjects that we liked or didn't like. And very often, if you dig a little bit deeper, it turns out that many subjects you like or dislike because you like or dislike the teacher. I can think back specifically to one or two subjects or one or two experiences that I had with teachers that turned me off a certain subject, for example. And later on in life, maybe if I go back and look at actually that subject again, I actually find that I quite like that subject. So I think that what COVID has highlighted in effect is that having teachers who are skilled in technology and able to deliver engaging lessons using the technology that is all around us in 2020 is not optional anymore. And it should not be accepted anymore that, for example, you as a teacher can decide, for example, that you don't want to know about, for example, remote teaching or making a video call or how to operate, for example, a chat. I think these type of skills are no longer optional, are no longer, and I want to be clear, they are not optional, not because we have to impose them. I think they are not optional because they are part and parcel of the way the world works nowadays. It is a little bit like, how can I put this? Imagine that, imagine we were living before the airplane was invented, okay? And you want to travel from one part of the world to another. So you can travel by train, you can travel by ship, you can travel by all these things. But then the airplane is invented. Now let's assume you're not afraid of flying or any of these factors, that we normally would consider. But what logical reason would there be to ignore the plane as a means of transport? What a lot of teachers seem to be doing is that they are ignoring technology as a means of learning or teaching. And that should not be acceptable. And it should not be acceptable, again, not because somebody imposes it on you. It should not be acceptable because it goes it goes contrary to the very concept of lifelong learning, which we should be promoting with our students. As teachers, we cannot tell our students, because again, this would be blatant hypocrisy. You need to be lifelong learners, but it's okay for me to keep traveling by train because I don't really like this shiny new plane that was just invented. This is just not the way life works. I think that very often, when it comes to discussing technology in education, many people doing the talking completely miss the point. Okay, because they will try to sell it as something that has to be done. The world works with technology, so it seems like a good idea to have that in thing. And of course, there are repercussions. Like, if we don't train children in technology today, their prospects of finding jobs in the future may be impacted because a lot of those jobs need technology. But I think it is very, very important that in every discussion about technology in education, we don't just focus on the aspect of how will this improve, for example, student engagement, or how will this improve, access to education and so on. I think one of the critical themes that has not been dealt with enough, or at all in many cases, is quality of life. How will using technology in my classroom improve the quality of life of both the students and the teachers?